In the world of today, you hear a lot of talks about whether Africa should be forced to make a choice between China versus the United States. I think
When he stood before his audience in Kigali, there was no politeness, no wasted words, no careful dance around sensitivities. His voice cut through the room with clarity. He named our era exactly as it is, the age of artificial intelligence. For him, this was not a faraway revolution waiting patiently for Africa to catch up. It was already here, roaring like a storm across economies, cultures, militaries, and even into personal lives. The challenge, he warned, is not whether Africa should embrace it, but whether Africa can survive being left behind. He spoke of an AI divide, one that will not simply separate nations by wealth, but by capacity. A divide between people whose brains are linked to advanced tools and those with nothing. Between corporations that process oceans of data in seconds and those still trapped in paper records. Between governments that harness algorithms for governance and those collapsing under their weight. The danger, he explained, is not that Africa will be colonized again by foreign empires, but that it will be colonized by technology it does not control. This was not a speech about the future. It was a warning about the present. Travel across Africa, and the evidence of vulnerability is everywhere. Entire regions still struggle with reliable internet connectivity. Millions remain without steady electricity. Universities are underfunded. How then can a continent compete in a world where intelligence itself is automated? True, in countries like Nigeria and Kenya, startups are experimenting with AI in agriculture or mobile banking. But these are sparks, flickers in a storm still dominated by giant corporations from the United States and China. The professor's words pierced the illusion that Africa has the luxury of time. AI does not wait. Yet, his speech was not fatalistic. He pointed to a lifeline: open-source AI. Platforms emerging from China, such as DeepSeek, offer a new model. They lower costs and open doors for more participants. For Africa, where billion-dollar proprietary AI projects are out of reach, this could be the bridge. If developers, universities, and policymakers embrace open systems, Africa can avoid exclusion from the new digital order. But beneath the technical analysis was a deeper challenge. AI, he argued, is not merely a foreign gift or threat. It is a test of confidence. Will African leaders mobilize resources, build institutions, and design policies that place the continent at the center of the revolution? Or will they once again allow external powers to define their role? This is no longer a technological debate. It is a debate about sovereignty. If Africa seizes this revolution on its own terms, it has the chance to rewrite its destiny. If not, it risks being sidelined, spectators in a drama that will define the fate of nations. Then came the second half of his warning. How can Africa make bold choices in this age of AI when it is constantly pressured to take sides in global rivalries? The professor looked his audience in the eye and told them not to be forced into choices that do not serve Africa's interests. For decades, the world has presented Africa with false options: Washington or Beijing, East or West. As if Africa is doomed to orbit around someone else's gravity. Sovereignty, he reminded them, means choosing based on what benefits your people, not what pleases foreign capitals. He exposed the hypocrisy of outside powers. Some countries preach values, yet refuse to build power stations or highways. Others criticize partnerships while offering nothing tangible in return. Africa, he said, must judge partnerships by deeds, not flags. The danger of great power rivalry is not theoretical. It is historical. During the Cold War, the continent became a chessboard. The United States and the Soviet Union funded coups, armed rebellions, and propped up dictators, all at the expense of African lives. Today, the names have changed, but the risk is the same: Washington and Beijing instead of Washington and Moscow. Partnerships must be conditional. If America delivers factories, power plants, and schools, then partnership makes sense. But if America only offers sanctions and lectures, then Africa has nothing to gain. Likewise, if China builds infrastructure that creates jobs and strengthens Africa's industrial base, cooperation is rational. But if it slips into exploitation, Africa must be ready to walk away. This is not about rejecting the world. It is about engaging wisely with confidence. Foreign powers are not saviors. Africans must use their own judgment, their own brainpower, to decide who truly helps them grow. That, he said, is what independence really means, not just the end of colonial rule, but the end of mental colonization. The timing of his words could not be more striking. Ethiopia pressed forward with the Grand Renaissance Dam despite outside pressure. Burkina Faso restructured its military partnerships, refusing empty offers and demanding partners who build infrastructure alongside defense. These are not random acts of defiance. They are signs of a principle: Africa first, everyone else second. And then came the comparison that startled the room. Kigali today, he said, is in better shape than China was in 1978. The audience leaned in. Could it be true? Yes. In 1978, China was a poor agrarian country with one of the lowest GDPs in the world. Its infrastructure was weak. Investors ignored it. Yet within 4 decades, it rose to become the world's manufacturing hub and the second largest economy. How? By focusing relentlessly on reforms, opening up to investment, and, above all, believing in itself. So why not Rwanda? Why not Africa? If China could move from poverty to power in just 1 generation, why can't Africa do the same in the next? Ethiopia has already shown what determination can build with the Renaissance Dam. Nigeria's fintech industry proves Africans can lead globally in digital innovation. Burkina Faso is refining its own gold, ensuring resources are processed at home rather than shipped away. Africa does not lack capacity, it lacks faith. But belief alone is not enough. Development requires discipline, long-term planning, and unity of vision. Deng Xiaoping's reforms in China worked because he made development, not ideology, the central priority. Africa must do the same. The professor then turned to the question of security. Prosperity cannot survive in unstable soil. Roads, schools, and industries mean little if unrest tears them apart. True security, he insisted, cannot be imported. It must be built at home, rooted in 3 pillars: stability at home, peace with neighbors, and development as the hard truth. This challenged the way many African governments think. Too often, security is equated with soldiers, foreign bases, or peacekeeping missions. But without development, all of that is a mirage. Weapons cannot silence poverty. Rwanda's own story proves the point. Its recovery from genocide was not just about silencing guns, but about rebuilding institutions, creating industries, and giving citizens dignity through development. That is why today, Rwanda stands as a symbol of stability, while other regions with foreign troops remain unstable. Security without development is an illusion, but development creates security that endures. Finally, the professor looked beyond Africa and asked a question that silenced the room. How can a continent of 1.4 billion people, rich in resources and youth, still be excluded from the world's most important decisions? He spoke of the United Nations Security Council. 15 nations decide on war, peace, and sanctions. Yet Africa, nearly a fifth of humanity, has no permanent seat. This is unacceptable. Africa cannot whisper in the corridors while others decide its fate. But the path to recognition is not through begging. It is through strength. A continent that builds its industries, masters AI, and speaks with unity will not ask for favors. It will demand its rightful place. Representation without technological power, however, would be hollow. Africa must not only claim its seat, but also bring tools, industries, and innovation to the table. Only then will its voice carry true weight. And so his roadmap came full circle. Africa must accelerate into the AI age, judge partners by deeds, not slogans, believe in its own potential, build security on development, and demand a voice in global governance. The future will not wait. The AI revolution is already redrawing the world map. Africa faces a choice: step forward with authority or remain silent while others decide its fate. The question is simple but urgent. Will Africa control its future or allow others to define it?